Neil Hudson.
Thank you, and it is a pleasure to serve under your chairmanship and to follow the Right Honourable Member for Bristol East. I congratulate the Honourable Member for Tiverton and Honiton for securing this debate, and I very much agree with the points he made forcefully and eloquently today. It is indeed a privilege to serve under his chairmanship as a member of the EFRA Select Committee. I declare a strong professional and political interest as a veterinary surgeon and as the MP for Penrith and the Border, home to many fantastic Cumbrian farmers who produce superb food to the highest production standards. Many constituents have been in touch, expressing their concerns about the free trade agreement with Australia and what that may mean for our local farmers and producers and for animal welfare standards. I indeed share these concerns. Broadly, I welcome the possibility of a mutually beneficial trade deal between our two nations, but it has to be the right one and one that recognises that whilst we have so much in common with our closest friends in Australia, our economies are very different and any trade deal should reflect that. For example, when it comes to livestock farms, the costs of production are much lower in Australia and they have very different animal husbandry methods to us. I say this as someone who has worked as a vet on farms, both in the UK and in Australia. It is vital that we have a thriving UK food production industry that is not undercut by imports. I am clear that any deal must not disadvantage our farmers and food producers, nor compromise animal welfare. That is why I have repeatedly called for animal welfare chapters to be included and tariff rate quotas to be used. I am pleased government has listened to my calls for an all-important animal welfare chapter in the agreement. However, we are still unclear on the detail of this chapter and on the exact use of tariff rate quotas to safeguard any deal. Importantly, we still await the government's response to the Trade and Agriculture Commission's report. And when I asked former TAC Chairman Tim Smith about these issues in our EFRA committee session in April, he said he would be squeamish about allowing a tariff to sort the problem out. And that you're absolutely right, Neil, there is a gap, but I just have to cross my fingers and hope in some ways that the negotiators, some of whom we spoke to during the course of our investigations and report, have read the report. So we have the situation that we are still going into these deals in the dark and hoping for the best. We can make it work, but we need urgent parliamentary scrutiny to ensure that any trade deal is not rushed through and for the TAC to be reconstituted immediately to help with this process. Parliamentary scrutiny needs to be meaningful, including the option for the House and relevant select committees like EFRA and international trade to be able to amend and potentially block deals and not just to delay them. I will continue to stand up for the farmers in Cumbria and across the whole of the United Kingdom. We have the best farmers and produce great food using high standards. We should be very proud of that. By promoting high animal welfare standards in the UK and by using animal welfare chapters in our free trade agreements, we can be a beacon to the rest of the world, driving up animal welfare standards globally. This would be an excellent use of some of our international aid budget to help farmers in the developing world farm and rear animals in a more sustainable way. On that note, I deeply regret the government's decision to cut our aid budget and not return it to 0.7% as soon as possible. This will have devastating impacts around the world in healthcare programs, nutrition and water programs, and supporting the world's poorest and most vulnerable. I continue to urge the government to restore the 0.7% as soon as possible. Finally, Chair, we can get this right. And if we do, everyone will benefit, farmers and the wider public. And very importantly, so will animals right around the world. Thank you.